3 months of chicken confinement in a greenhouse and trying out the deep litter method for the first time. Here's what went wrong and what I encountered with cooped up poultry. The floor of the greenhouse had soil and I added wood chip layer every so often. In the first week there was a bit of hen pecking and my Peking's head was bleeding. The alpha hen was more aggressive in her new confined space, but things started to settle down. I was turning over the soil and noticed loads of mould had developed on the wood chips that had been covered with things. So a clean-up proceeded and I discarded the mouldy debris and I generally decluttered the area. I noticed how warm the greenhouse was, even though it was winter, and it stayed relatively fresh in there unless there was broody poop. I made sure there was no scraps in the evening to prevent mice and rats, and kept an eye out for any more mould. So 2 months later, and I noticed my black silky limping. I checked her out and discovered she had what looked like scaly leg mites, as did the others, but they weren't as bad. This was the first time I'd discovered scaly leg mites, so it was all new to me. I proceeded to dip them in vegetable oil every day for 10 days, and had to spray under the chicken wings as well with oil, as the skin was looking flaky under there. I also gave them a warm bath with a little fairy liquid before using the oil, to soften and remove any flaky scales. And then I got the hairdryer on them. This was the first time I'd bathed my chickens before, and they were a bit stressed. The black silky was losing some feathers, I noticed. And during the 10 days of applying oil on her legs, she lost a lot more, especially on her head. I thought it may have been down to stress of being handled a lot, as well as the scaly leg mites, which causes a number of problems if left untreated. Then I wondered if she was just having a heavy molt, as chickens do. Things started to improve, and she was putting more pressure on her leg, and their scales were looking a lot better. The Peking's wattle had got a lot brighter, but my bearded silky was missing a few nails. My black silky's feathers were growing back though, and I proceeded to put Vaseline on their feet every few days to break the life cycle of the scaly leg mites. All seemed to be getting better, until now. I was tidying up and I'd lifted a pavement slab that was by the greenhouse and spotted what looked like red mites. The chickens were scratching a lot, so I've let them outside and once again I'm cleaning out the greenhouse, removing the top layer of litter and binning this. So there's no compost for me, and apparently they can live for up to 8 months without a host. I'm spraying every nook and cranny with an all-rounder flea, lice and mite spray, covering everywhere in DE and putting DE under the chicken wings as well, and I'm wondering what's going to happen next. It's not been a very good 3 months under lockdown. I've given up on the deep litter method now, as DE is a drying agent and kills beneficial insects and microorganisms necessary for composting, and my soil is now covered in it, and they love to dust bath in the soil, so that's good. So I've learned a lot these 3 months, and some of my lessons learned are just to check over my chickens more often, to be on the lookout for pests. I've been more aware of symptoms that can occur, such as less egg production, irritability, increased activity and physical changes in the poultry.